Hi class. In this video, I will be reviewing some tips to keep in mind for your video presentation for this course. So right now I'm on the instructional page for the video presentation where you will find instructional videos on the Novio free online video recording tool as well as the Screencast-O-Matic video recording tool. And I'm actually using the Screencast-O-Matic right now. Now I'm going to scroll a little further down. You will see the instructional videos. Now with the Novio, you will be uploading your PowerPoints and then you'll be recording as you present each slide. With the Screencast-O-Matic, you actually have to get this, it's like a dotted line that comes up on your screen because it video records your screen, and you will shape it around your slide and play your PowerPoint presentation that way. Number one that I want you to keep in mind is you need to be visible in your video presentation. I know some of us get very nervous. Getting used to doing video presentations was very difficult for me, but you do need to be visible. You need to be dressed in a professional manner and preferably presenting in a room where there aren't any distractions or loud, sound or anything. That way your video will be clear, your sound will be clear. I do suggest for you to use a microphone. I personally, usually for my video presentations, right now it's very quiet, but if you tend to be in a loud area, I have a Logitech headset and it connects very easily to your laptop. Very clear sound, so that might be helpful. I now want to jump to a couple of tips, kind of like the do's and don'ts to keep in mind when you're presenting. So here we are. You actually will see, you can view this infographic that I'm going to go through in the instructional page that we were just at. And it just kind of goes over some of the do's and don'ts to keep in mind. Now, one, your slides. Do not fill them up with text. They are supposed to be signposts. So it's just for you to give the viewer an idea of the topic you're covering and also to help you remember what you're talking about. Do not read from your paper. You can read a little bit, but I need to see eye contact. You need to be looking up at the webcam and presenting because your aim is to effectively convey your message. You want to share with us what you learned researching your topic in your paper. Let me scroll a little further down here all right. So here it talks about first sentence grabbing your attention. Definitely first off, introduce yourself to the class, introduce your topic. And if you have some ideas on how to start the presentation to kind of get the viewer's attention, that would be great. All right. Now, here it says words matter. Now, one thing I do want you to keep in mind, once you put together your PowerPoint presentation, you need to practice, and that would help. That will help with you, using the correct words to effectively communicate your message. All right, let me scroll a little further down. Okay, as I said, practice makes perfect. Definitely practice. Introduce yourself, eye contact to the webcam. I know this is a video presentation, and it's slightly different since we are presenting to our virtual classroom. But believe it or not, the more comfortable you feel with a video presentation, other than using it for this course, you'll probably be able to use it for work as well. So it's actually a handy tool to know how to use. Now, in this course regarding questions, of course, you want to allow your viewers to ask questions if they have any. In this course, you can reply to your student's post that has the video presentation and include your question there, and you can also email them. You can definitely include a video as props, images on your slides just to help bring the message you are communicating to life. And it actually helps in retaining the information. So keep that in mind as well. Now, I know in this section of the infograph, it touches on face-to-face communication. Obviously, you are not able to see how your viewers are receiving the message you're sending to them. But one thing to keep in mind is you don't want to have a monotone voice. You want to try to keep your presentation lively. So always remember to, change up your tone and kind of act like you're presenting to a group of people. I mean, that's what I usually keep in mind, and I advise you guys to do the same. It really tends to be helpful. Some of the don'ts. You don't want to be speaking too slow or too fast. Obviously, when you speak too fast, you lose your audience. I always try to remind myself about that because I tend to speak very quickly. Do not read from your slides. Do not read from your paper. It's okay if you have your paper on the side and you need to kind of remember a point, but I need to see that you are looking up at the webcam. You need to have eye contact, even though it's a video presentation. If there are any graphs you can include to help illustrate what you are presenting, be sure to do that. All right, so these are some issues that I tend to struggle with. Fidgeting with hands. I'm constantly playing around with my hands. Try not to do that, especially if it's visible. Saying the word If I was to count how many times I've used in this video, I'm sure it's a whole bunch. But keep that in mind because you are practicing your presentation before presenting. So do your best to slow, if you tend to be a fast talker, slow it down a bit and do your best not to use the word Okay, and then here is the last section, which are really useful considerations if it was an in-person presentation. So in this video, I just really wanted to touch on some tips to keep in mind for your video presentation, as well as some of the things not to do. Again, remember, professional, you should be dressed professionally, and you should be in a location, either, it doesn't need to be an office, but in a location where it's quiet, not sitting on your bed, because I know this is an online class, but just to keep those things in mind. I look forward to viewing your video presentation soon, and take care. Bye.